I'm Maria Drutska, and today I will tell you about knives. Knives in Putin's bag from unexpected sources, about new arrest warrant from the ICC, how China is stopping to accept Russian payments, and about the new cannon fodder that Russia will be using at the war against Ukraine. If you watched my previous video, you probably have an idea what I'm talking about, but let's go step by step. In Tver Oblast of the so-called Russia, drones attacked the Redkinsky experimental plant, as reported by Russian sources. This facility has been targeted by drones multiple times before. The plant manufactures aviation fuel. The Russian Ministry of Defense, of course, stated that 4 drones were shot down over Tver Oblast. Guys, before I continue, I want to thank all of you who send coffees on Buy Me a Coffee and become patrons. And please subscribe to my Twitter page where I post regular updates about the situation in Ukraine, and to my Instagram where I show my daily life in Ukraine. Already 6 Russian officials and military personnel are wanted by The Hague. This time Shoigu and Gerasimov. But what do arrest warrants for Shoigu and Gerasimov mean? The ICC considers Russia's military crimes indisputable. The pre-trial chamber of the International Criminal Court in The Hague has issued arrest warrants for Chief of the Russian General Staff Valery Gerasimov and Secretary of the Council of the Security Council Sergei Shoigu, who was until recently Russia's Minister of Defense. They are suspected of war crimes and crimes against humanity for missile strikes on Ukrainian electric infrastructure from at least October 10, 2022 to March 9, 2023. The number of high-ranking Russians sought for their roles in the war in Ukraine has now reached 6 individuals. This includes Putin, Children's Ombudsman Maria Lvova-Belova, accused for forcibly deporting minors, Sergei Kobylyash, commander of long-range aviation, and Viktor Sokolov, commander of the Black Sea Fleet, them for striking on energy infrastructure. Any country that has ratified the Rome Statute must arrest them if they enter their territory, and there are 123 such states. Recall, the Russian military began mass strikes on Ukrainian power stations in the autumn of 2022, leaving tens of thousands of civilians without power and heat for days and weeks. By the end of April 2024, Ukraine had lost 80% of its thermal energy generation and 35% of hydroelectric power capacity. Moving on, Serbia has significantly increased its production of military products, with its factories now operating in 3 shifts to provide weapons to Ukraine. Russia is just shocked, while Serbia refused to restrict the sales of weapons to Western countries due to their transfer to Ukraine. Serbian Prime Minister and leader of the Serbian Progressive Party, Miloš Vučević, opposed limiting arms sales to Western countries, even if they may send them to Ukraine as military aid. I don't want to prevent companies from selling our ammunition to Spain, the Czech Republic, or the USA. The production of weapons and ammunition is not something prohibited or immoral, although weapons can be used where there is armed conflict, he said. Well, he also emphasized that selling weapons does not mean that Serbia is supporting either side of the war. Earlier, Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić confirmed to the Financial Times that the country had increased its ammunition exports by approximately 800 million euros in the last 2 or 3 years, and some deliveries to Western countries may have reached Ukraine. However, which is stressed that his primary responsibilities are the well-being of his own country and people, not controlling where ammunition goes after sales. The Serbian leader also noted that arms exports provide a business development opportunity for the country. At the same time, he declined to take sides in military conflict. Following the Russian Ministry of Foreign Affairs reported talks with Serbian authorities regarding potential security threats associated with the volume of deliveries that could reach Ukraine. The Kremlin pledged to clarify these details with its Serbian friends, said Peskov. Well, guys, as we see, money doesn't smell. This is how Serbia continues to navigate a delicate balance, neither recognizing Crimea, Kherson, Zaporizhia, Donetsk, and Luhansk regions as part of Russia, indirectly supplying weapons to Kiev, yet opposing any sanctions against Russia and actively trading with Moscow. Next, the Russian subsidiary of the Bank of China has stopped accepting payments from major Russian banks. The Russian subsidiary of the Chinese Bank of China suspended all operations with Russian banks subject to US sanctions from June 24, according to sources in the financial market cited by Kommersant media source. This is not very good news for the Russian market. Additional costs will arise both in terms of time and the cost of processing payments, noted one financier. According to him, the bank traditionally played a significant role in banking payment traffic. Sources believe that decision is linked to concerns about secondary sanctions from the United States. However, Bank of China continues to work with non-sanctioned credit organizations in Russia. In the Russian market, the Bank of China subsidiary ranks second in terms of assets among Chinese bank subsidiaries. Expert RA agency noted that Bank of China serves as a core settlement credit organization for Chinese businesses, state structures, and major Russian companies. The bank's businesses focus on transactions in yuan between Russia and China. And the most interesting, South Korea has announced plans by North Korea to send troops to Ukraine. It said that North Korea plans to send engineer troops on the territories of Ukraine occupied by Russia in July for reconstruction work. A representative of the South Korean government told local channel TV Chosun. Russia promised to pay North Korea for assistance in occupying a neighboring country, noted the source. Commenting on this information, the Pentagon stated that if North Korean troops are sent to Ukraine, they would become cannon fodder. If I were the leader of North Korean forces, I would question sending armed forces as cannon fodder for a criminal war against Ukraine, said Major General Pat Ryder, spokesperson for the American Military Department. Well, not that any dictator has ever cared about his soldiers dying at war, but anyway, let me guys know what you think about it and whether we really will have soon new brigades of North Korean soldiers here. I would like to remind you that Vladimir Putin and North Korean leader Kim Jong-un signed a bilateral treaty-like agreement on strategic partnership on June 19th. This occurred during the Russian president's visit to North Korea. According to this document, Russia and North Korea will assist each other in case of aggression against either country, explained Putin after his visit to the capital of North Korea. He also stated that Moscow does not rule out military technical cooperation with North Korea currently prohibited by UN sanctions. Yeah, right, like previously Moscow had always followed UN resolutions, respected Geneva Conventions, and other norms of international law. You can find more details in my previous video. I will leave the link in the description and you will see it in the end of the video. Anyway, as always, too many news, too little time. That's it for today, and I want to thank all of you who support Ukraine, watch Ukrainian content, and if you like this video, you can support the channel's development on Patreon or buy me a coffee. See you soon, and Slava Ukraini!